Hello YouTube, Musty Hobbit here, and today I am very excited to finally have in my possession a controller that I have been looking forward to since they announced it in mid-2017, and that is the new Duke by Hyperkin for the Xbox One and Windows 10 PCs. So this is a replica of the original Xbox Duke controller, which was the base model. There's quite a tumultuous history behind the whole thing. If you really want to dig into it, I would encourage you to do so, but I won't, for the sake of time, go into that here today. I do have one of those here, so we can do a side-by-side once I get this puppy opened. And then I also have our Xbox One, just your base controller. This one came with my Xbox One X, just so we can, again, look at different features that are here and here that have been put into this. So quickly, let's kind of take a look at the box. On the front, they have a picture of the controller. It does mention that there's a nice little feature with the gem on the middle here. I will show us that before we're done here today. It does have the same stylings as the original controller with some of the modern buttons mapped, such as the picture frames and the what I'm calling the hamburger. If we turn the box to the side, you see the side of this Duke controller. On the bottom we have our limited warranty, as well as all of your little warnings and things like that. On this side we have the other side of the controller, and on the top just says Hyperkin Duke with the flimsy kind of hang tab there. Now my store only had 2 of these, and both of them were already claimed by pre-order. So I don't think the hang tab is going to do a whole lot of good, but if they do end up stocking these, if they sell well, maybe Hyperkin decides to continue to supply them to stores as well. If we turn it over onto the back, there is some more pictures and features listed here. One of the biggest things to point out, and we'll take a look at this once we get this open, is the addition of some bumpers, which mirror the black and white buttons. This was something that I wasn't sure that they were going to do, and I'm actually pleased that they have done it. I'll have to see how it feels in general. In addition, we have the triggers. There is a headset jack, much like your Xbox One X controller here. Whereas the original Xbox, you had to have additional sort of plugins that would go into the memory card slots up top here to enable the use of a headset. In addition, there is indication that this is vibration enabled, and then it does have a 9-foot detachable USB cable. Now this controller is not wireless, despite all the imagery on the front. You can kind of see they very subtly put the wire in there, but when I take this out, I don't believe it's going to have the wire in there. So let's open this up. I still have it sealed up to this point. And so being an unboxing on Second Breakfast, there is only one tool that is suitable for this, and that would be the replica that I have of Aragorn's hunting knife that was given to him in Lothlorien. So we're going to use this to open up this box here very quickly. There's 1 and 2. So let's turn this over, shake this out, and okay, nothing on the inside of the lid there. So here we have it. We have inside the box, we have a very special thank you, which lists out some of the specific names of note individuals, such as Seamus Blackley, who was the father of the original Xbox, Phil Spencer, Aaron Greenberg, the Xbox community, the devs behind Halo and Jet Set Radio Future are in here as well. Nothing on the opposite side. In addition, there is a quick start guide, which is about as simple as you can get in English, French, and Spanish. But basically, it's a plug this in, plug the other end into your USB port. So we should do that in a moment. So we have the controller itself, and I am loving the foam cutout on this. Usually I might consider throwing away boxes, but this is a nice little foam cutout. We do have the Duke controller itself, and I have to admit that the feel on this, first glance, I'm really liking how this looks. I'm just going to bask in awe for a second here. Let me set this off to the side so we can just get through the rest of what's in the box, and then we can look a little bit more at the controller. In addition here, there is an extra, this is the USB cable itself, wrapped in its own loose plastic bag, and then having this sort of plastic piece there. Get rid of that. And let's, I want to get this plugged in because I want to see the big feature that everyone's talking about. So let me get the box out of the way again, just sort of open, but really kind of nice for storing this or other Duke controllers, which is pretty cool. And then we'll get the box out of here. And since the thing that I want to see here is going to be behind this, I'm going to lose the plastic. So let's try and attempt to zoom in here. We're getting a lot of glare, so let's go ahead and plug this in. And we got some vibration, and we are booting up the original Xbox boot screen. That is awesome. And I think it's touchable, and if you touch it again, bring it a little bit closer this time. We are out of focus. One more time. It's one of those images. I know a lot of people have the PlayStation noises kind of in their memory. The sound that accompanies this is something that sticks in my head very, very, very vividly. And it's just really cool that they were able to do this in this controller. So what I'm going to do is just kind of get a feel for. I mean, this is spot on from a. Let's get some side by sides here. Major differences, obviously, the actual inscribed lettering on here that is absent in this case. This is a Hyperkin product and not a Microsoft one, although it was done in conjunction with Microsoft. Buttons look about the same. The texture's a little bit different, but that I think is to be expected. This is also older, so the biggest difference I think is the absence of the ports up top, and then the addition of these shoulder buttons. I just realized that all of this was out of focus, so let's yeah, so the big difference there is, again, these additional shoulder buttons, and then the absence of that there. Now, I will give some thoughts later on once I've had a chance to really test this out, but the feel on this is pretty good for for being an attempt to emulate that Duke feel. And again, I just want to do that again. That's too cool. If you are used to just using your index fingers on the triggers, then moving to the shoulder buttons has a bit of additional movement, whereas the alternative, I guess, would be to use your middle fingers on the triggers, which then gives you access to the shoulders, or, again, you can just use the white and black buttons as you did back then. Now, the nice thing about the original Xbox is that being as they understood that these buttons are a little bit out of reach, I think a lot of games, especially those ones that are being now made backwards compatible, I think that those don't use the black and white buttons for a ton of features. Example being Halo Combat Evolved, in which case I think this is your flashlight, and this one might change the grenade type, I think. if I'm remembering right. Of course, you can map different things to different buttons. I do need to take a look and see if the mapping accessibility is still something that works as it does for your normal Xbox One controllers, to see if you can remap things if you would feel the need to. But overall, I like the look. I need to test it out. I need to make sure that see how the build is and see how it kind of holds up to some longer play sessions. So, playing through Halo Anniversary right now as part of the Cartridge Club's Game of the Month, and so no better time than to use the Duke to play through the remainder of that campaign. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and stop there. I will, again, give some thoughts once I've had a chance to test drive. But for now, I just wanted to get that unboxing out of the way and give kind of my initial impressions on how it looks, how it feels, and my general impressions here are fairly positive with regards to this. So unboxings aren't very common on my channel. They come up once in a while, but I felt like this was one that had to be done. So I do thank you for coming by, and thank you for your interest in this. If you're interested in more content regarding gaming, pop culture, etc., Second Breakfast is the place to be, and go ahead and subscribe, and you can join me for Second Breakfast one of these weeks. But for now, thank you for coming by. I have been Musty. Take care of yourself and be good to each other. Bye.